ਦੀਆਂ ਦੀਵਾਰਾਂ ਗਿਰੀਆਂ ਛੱਤ। ਇਹ ਬਲਾਸਟ ਕੋਈ ਬੰਦਾ ਅਣਹੋਣੀ ਕਰਕੇ ਗਿਆ।
ਕੁਝ ਦੇਸ਼ ਵਿਰੋਧੀ ਸੂਬਾ ਵਿਰੋਧੀ ਤਾਕਤਾਂ ਵੱਲੋਂ ਇਸ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਦੀਆਂ ਘਿਨਾਉਣੀਆਂ ਹਰਕਤਾਂ ਕੀਤੀਆਂ ਜਾ ਰਹੀਆਂ।
पंजाब का माहौल ठीक बनाए रखने की जिम्मेदारी मुझे लगता है कि चरणजीत सिंह जी चन्नी जो पंजाब के मुख्यमंत्री प्राथमिक रूप से उनकी है।
20 incidents of alleged sacrilege attempts, back-to-back lynching, and now a blast. Good evening, I'm Arunima. Punjab was already on the edge since last week, but a blast at the Ludhiana court complex had made the state even more tensed. Was this a conspiracy? If so, then by whom? Or is this more proof of failure of the state government to keep the law and order in the state intact? Ahead of elections, what is in store for the border state of Punjab? That's our top focus in this edition of Epicenter. We begin by listening in to what Navjot Singh Sidhu has to say, the PCC chief who has just met some of those who got injured at the hospital and has now spoken to the press.
लोगों में डर फैलाया जा रहा है। ये नकारात्मक राजनीति की पराकाष्ठा है कि बेकसूर लोगों की जानें ली जा रही हैं वोट्स की पोलराइजेशन के लिए। मेरा सवाल यह है कि 4.5 साल सब कुछ ठीक था और ये सेम प्रक्रिया बंगाल में भी हुई। ये 4.5 साल ठीक था और यकायक जब 1-2 महीने रह जाते हैं तो सीरीज ऑफ इवेंट्स, बेअदबी, फिर बेअदबी, लोग पहरेदार बने और अब ये जघन्य अपराध। ये कौन सी लड़ाई है भाई? ये किससे लड़ाई है जिसमें बेकसूर लोगों की जान ली जाती है? जिस लड़ाई में राजा की जान को खतरा ना हो, वो लड़ाई नहीं है, वो राजनीति है और वो राजनीति भी नकारात्मकता की पराकाष्ठा। मैं घोर निंदा करता हूं और ये कहता हूं कि हम पंजाब के लोग गुरुओं के विरसे को अपना मानते हैं। वही हमारा लाइट हाउस है, वही साडा चानन मना रहा है और उस विचारधारा नाल जुड़ के कोई वंडिया नहीं जा सकता, कोई बांटा नहीं जा सकता। ये अखंड भारत है, ये अखंड पंजाब है। इसमें जात पात के नाम पे तुम बांट नहीं सकते। वोट की राजनीति के लिए तुम किसी कम्युनिटी को, लोकतंत्र को डर तंत्र, भय तंत्र बना के अपनी नकारात्मक सौड़ी सोच से प्रभावित नहीं कर पाओगे। ये पहले भी हुआ है और
Is Navjot Singh Sidhu there indicating a political conspiracy? If so, by whom? Charanjit Singh Channi, the Chief Minister, also said something similar when he asked why, when a case against an opposition leader began around the same time in a court, such a blast has happened. We'll discuss the politics of it with my guests in a bit, but first I want to show you exactly what happened at the Ludhiana courtroom. Here are the sequence of events that happened. The first visual that you see, this is the visual of the exact spot where the explosion happened. You can see the door that has been smashed to pieces, the wall of the washroom that has been damaged. This is where the alleged improvised explosive device went off. The impact of it can be seen from these pictures. It's completely damaged the entire washroom where the explosion happened. This is where one of the bodies was found, and this is what the police suspects, that the washroom was the place where the bomb was apparently being assembled. This is preliminary information, and during the assembling process itself, the bomb went off. Let's play the next footage now. The second footage is here. This is another angle. You can see the way the water is falling, the impact of the blast ensured that the pipelines also burst. There is a crowd there trying to make sense of what has really happened. The policemen on duty also unable to keep the crowd away, even though there was a risk that a second blast could also go off. So this is the second footage that we have from another angle, from another camera. The next one, look at the way the victims are being taken. Those who were injured, in the bare arm of people, of bystanders, they are being rushed in because there was no ambulance present there. We don't know if there was enough PCR vans to take these people who were injured, but at least 5 injured have been taken to the hospital. As per the Deputy Chief Minister, they are stable. So one just hopes that they recover and they can tell us exactly what happened. But this was the third footage that we saw from the Ludhiana courtroom. The next one that we have for you, this is the scene outside the court premises. You see one vehicle there. We were talking about ambulance. You see that one vehicle that was finally brought in to carry the injured along. But look at the crowd. If there was a series of blasts that was being planned, look at the crowd there outside the court premises. And that building up there that you saw, that was the building where the blast actually occurred. There were vehicles standing below it, and vehicles which are, SUV kind, so considered sturdy. Even they bore the impact of this blast. That tells you how powerful it was. The next one that we want to show you is this scene of crime. You can see the yellow tape that the police has put around. There are the forensic teams that are doing their job to prevent this area from getting contaminated, evidence getting lost. Police and the forensic team trying to scrape through. What they're doing right now in this visual is trying to pick up whatever they can, whatever has evidentiary value, which will then be analyzed by the forensic team, by the NSG BDDS team, to try and figure out the nature of the explosive, the quantity of the explosive, and the kind of explosion that happened. But once again, want to show you that wall that you can see in this visual. It tells you what the impact of the blast was, how powerful it was. So if somebody tells you that this was no big deal, because that is something that the Chief Minister did say, maybe we should ask them if this is no big deal. Look at the impact there. So who's really behind this? Who's responsible for the kind of visuals that we are just showing you? Is this a political conspiracy, as the Congress PCC chief as well as the Chief Minister seems to be suggesting? Aparajita Sarangi, BJP MP, is here with me on the show. Charan Singh Sapra, spokesperson of the Congress party. Paramveer Singh, spokesperson of the Aam Aadmi party, also an advocate, and former DGP of Punjab, Mr. Shashikant, here with me. I want to come to you first, Mr. Shashikant, before I throw the discussion open to my political panelists. Have you seen anything of this kind before in a courtroom? Is this fair to compare it with the 1980s when terrorism was at its peak in Punjab? Can this even be considered a starting point?
Yeah, well, I would like to talk about those black days. We saw so many things that still shake us up. But as far as this particular thing is concerned, yes, I said that these persons, anti-social elements, because we'll come to that later on, whether they were terrorists or what they were. They chose this courthouse. So it was a very careful exercise, because this is one place in Ludhiana. Is number one, it's the biggest courtroom in the civil courtroom that we have in Punjab. The footfall is almost 8,000, 9,000, 10,000 every day. Even the bus stations, the railway stations, they don't have this much of crowd. It appears that they did look around and chose this survey the area and picked up very carefully. And second thing is, look, like you were talking about, you were showing us the visuals about the wall and all those things. When I heard about it and the kind of damage that was there, I was really shaken. I thought that, man, is it RDX? Because the damage is heavy. But subsequent reports which are coming, and I think that they are more reasonable, that first let the FSL pick up the debris and everything that they can collect, and then decide what kind of explosive it was, what kind of material there was used, whether it was RDX, whether it was high explosive, whether it was ammonia, this and that, whatever it is. And another thing that I want to mention, unfortunately, like people say that there were about 10 or 12 entries to the courthouse. There were 2 door frame metal detectors. Both of them were not working. God knows about the CCTVs and this and that, whatever it is. That means the person had a free access to their place. And again, I don't know, because investigation will show whether he was trying to fix up the entire explosive mechanism, IED, or whatever it was, whether he wanted it went out by mistake, or whether he wants to take it to the courtroom and do this stupid thing there. It all remains to be seen.
Right.
But I'll say this, one of the horrible incidents that I have seen. And somehow the other panelists will also be knowing about it, that somehow the Ludhiana has been one of the places which is where most of this terrorist attacks had taken place, and still it's a very, very vulnerable area.
Right. So,
Right.
so two, three
And
important
still police not taking
two,
any
three important
precautions.
points that the former DGP there is making, that, you know, if this was chosen carefully, if the courtroom was chosen carefully because of the kind of footfall that this court premises sees. Number two, if the whoever was planning this conspiracy, whether the person who has died was indeed responsible for the blast, did he carry out a recce? Did he know that the door frame metal detectors were not working? If it is so, how big a failure is that? But Charan Singh Sapra, instead of talking about all this, we hear the Chief Minister and the PCC Chief question as to why this is happening on the eve of elections, why for so long no incident has happened, now suddenly incidents of sacrilege happening, incidents of bomb blasts happening. Is there a parallel between the drug probe that you are doing against a political leader and these blasts? What exactly is the Congress party trying to hint at here?
Anurima, see, Punjab is, a border state. And such incidents, it had happened earlier also. In 2017, there was a bomb blast in Mor Mandi, and a couple of people were killed just before the elections. I feel the way things are moving in Punjab, the desecration issue or this issue, I feel there is definitely some method to this madness which needs to be probed. The central agencies as well as the state agencies, they have been put on job. The NIA and the other intelligence agencies, they are working on it. And probably the forensic experts from the state as well as the center, they have also reached there. And I feel in a day or two, we'll have a clearer picture. But definitely there's one thing, that some anti-national forces are working over there, whether they are the external forces or whether there is an internal hand into it, that needs to be probed. Probably in a couple of days we'll come to know. The central agencies are working on it, and let's wait for that.
Right. Paramveer Singh, do you see an internal hand as well as the Congress party and the state government there seems to be indicating? They are not just talking about an external hand, but about a possibility of an internal hand as well.
See, there can be any possibility with this regard, I tell you. Punjab is a border state. Definitely, there have been instances of, security issues having happened in the past. But I would like to draw your attention towards the timeline happened in last 6 months. There are instances of, tiffin bombs being found in Fagwada, in border area. There are instances of drones near the Pakistan border. So this is a matter of inquiry now. Right, it is up to the security agencies, intelligence agencies, what they come up ultimately. Whether there are certain forces, they are conspiring to break the peace of Punjab, right? At the instance of such, plannings, or there are some external forces, those who are trying to, disturb peace and harmony of this nation.
Right.
So this is a matter of question. I believe this is the total responsibility of the state government and the national agencies. If they would have taken strict action and appropriate inquiries and would have taken the lead of the people behind the tiffin bomb being identified and found in Punjab, the instance that took place today would not have happened. Right? We are in a sorry state of affairs. This is the failure of the Home Ministry over here. And
Aparajita Sarangi, come in on that. While Charanjit Singh Channi is obviously under a lot of pressure, questions are being asked of him, and rightly so, as to why his government is failing to prevent such incidents. Do you think that the central government can escape responsibility as well? It is a border state after all, and we do know that the Union Home Ministry, the central agencies have all been worried that ahead of elections, Pakistan, ISI could make attempts like these.
A very good evening. Whatever has happened in Ludhiana is a great concern for us, and we are very sad about it. And our sincerest condolences, deepest condolences to the family of the deceased. We are all well aware of the fact that the Ministry of Home Affairs, Government of India, has asked for a report from the state government in this regard. Now, let me tell you that the peace and security of the nation is the topmost priority of the Modi government. We are very much worried about whatever has happened in Ludhiana should not have happened. But at the same time, I would say that law and order is the responsibility of the state government. And there must be proper investigation. We need to probe into the matter. We need to arrive at the reason behind, who are the people behind. And I'm sure the center is working, would continue to work with the state government, and center and state would definitely come up with the right kind of conclusions, and action would be taken as deemed proper thereafter.
Right. Charan Singh Sapra, that point that Ms. Sarangi is making, law and order is after all a state subject. When the former Chief Minister, Captain Amrinder Singh, was meeting Home Minister Amit Shah and repeatedly saying that there could be a security issue with Punjab, we should take it seriously, he was scoffed at by your party colleagues. Now it seems he's being proved correct.
No, see, it's not like that. Every chief minister, whether it is Captain Amrinder Singh or whether it is Charanjit Singh Channi, they have to brief the Union Home Minister or the Prime Minister or the central agencies like NSA. They have to brief, since it's a border state. The apprehensions which Captain Amrinder Singh was having regarding the border state and regarding the interference of ISI, the drones, how they were coming into Punjab, similar apprehensions were also informed by Mr. Charanjit Singh Channi to Amit Shah when he met him, or when he met Prime Minister also. So I feel that is a part which every chief minister has to play. Whatever intelligence input he has with the state government, he has to inform the central government. Likewise, the Congress chief ministers have been doing. But in this particular case, I would like to say that this is not only an attack on Punjab, but this is an attack on the nation, I would like to say, because the entire nation is being threatened now. It is not about Punjab. This blast might have happened in Punjab. The elections are coming in Punjab, but tomorrow it can happen elsewhere also. So the entire nation has to be careful. The agencies have to work meticulously as to why this has happened, and there has to be a coordinated effort of the state as well as the central agencies to come to the conclusion that how this can be curtailed ahead, how we are going to fight if this is a terror attack, how we are going to fight, who are the ground workers over here, who are the people, the local support the external forces got. Everything has to come crystal clear, and it will only come when both the central as well as the state agencies, they work together. There should be no political slugfest in this.
Right. Mr. Shashikant, all the right things being said there by the Congress spokesperson. Of course, there should be no political slugfest on it. But it is a fact that this is something that the administration missed out. Would you call this an intelligence failure? They did issue an alert that religious institutions in Punjab should be vigilant. But when it happened in a courtroom about 22 kilometers away, there was a chief minister's rally that was supposed to happen. Abject failure in terms of intelligence?
Of course, it is abject failure of intelligence. But here I'd like to raise one pertinent point, which I think everybody has been overlooking. These guys who did whatever they did wrongly, of course, in Phagwara or in Kapurthala, your Gurdaspur.
Sir, if you can just give me a moment, you're making a very important point. I'm just coming back to you, but we have to shift focus for just a bit to the Prime Minister's review of the COVID situation in the country. Those are visuals that we are getting. Prime Minister meeting the top officials of the country to get a review of the COVID situation in light of the Omicron threat that is staring at the country. Payal Mehta is with me on the broadcast. Payal, we're looking at these pictures of the Prime Minister meeting the CAPSEC, the Home Secretary, the Chief Secretary of other states of the country. Help us understand what could be the key takeaway from this meeting.
Well, as far as this is concerned, this is obviously to review the situation of the rising number of cases in various states as well, Arunima. Not to forget the challenge of Omicron that we are really looking at, because India has over 250 cases of Omicron that have already been registered, and with neighboring countries also registering cases, and in fact Europe is registering more than 1 lakh cases. That's definitely going to be a worry as far as India is concerned. And that is one of the reason you have the top bureaucrats of the country, whether it's the Home Secretary or the Cabinet Secretary or the Health Secretary, all of these officials in a meeting with the Prime Minister. This is essentially to take a call on multiple issues concerning the COVID management, because remember, reviewed guidelines have been issued by many states, and many states have clamped down on the celebrations towards the end of the year as well. It will be important to see what really comes out, because there will be an official release that the Prime Minister's office will in fact put out after a while. But yes, it's a very critical meeting, and the Prime Minister has been leading this entire fight of COVID from the front. right from, looking into the deepest measures as far as lockdown is concerned, unlocking and getting the vaccinations in place. It's been Narendra Modi who's led from the front as far as this entire challenge is concerned. It's a challenge that one has seen probably once in 100 years.
Right. But two things that people are really asking about, Payal, are we expecting a decision on those two? First, a decision on booster. Second, a decision on any kind of restrictions in light of the rising cases?
Well, as far as the rising number of cases are concerned, and if restrictions are to be put into place, that announcement will come from the Home Ministry, because Home Ministry is a nodal ministry which is going to do that. But individual states have been putting those clamps as well. And if you remember, just before the second wave of COVID, the government had handed over the reins to the states, and the states were asked to make their individual guidelines instead of issuing a wholesome guideline that you've really seen. So, but basic framework has already been in place. And as far as the management of COVID in terms of the vaccination or announcing of a booster dose, that is also pretty unlikely in today's meeting, because the government has really been saying from time to time that so far they do not have any data suggesting that India needs to start giving booster doses as well. They'll rely on the wisdom of the scientists and of course those minds of the health officers in concern to see if such a decision needs to be taken anytime soon.
So fair to say, Payal, that the Prime Minister will once again emphasize that we should ensure that vaccination is done, both doses, testing is done properly, and in case there are cluster outbreaks, containment zones should be declared. These are the broad parameters of the government's response so far. Those will be reiterated once again?
The Prime Minister, every single time that he's spoken, has spoken about this, Arunima. You're absolutely right. The Prime Minister said that there's nothing like small containment zones being marked out and, obviously, restrictions being put into place there as well. You cannot be in a situation when you lock the entire city or the entire country at this point in time, because we've already seen the kind of economic backlash that really had. But, obviously, there has to be individual responsibility. People have to be wearing the mask. People have to follow social distancing. People have to first go ahead and get themselves vaccinated. There are still a number of people who have to get their second dose of vaccine or probably the first dose of the vaccine. The government has launched Har Ghar Dastak scheme. That means, they're going to the most rural of areas, trying to get people vaccinated. So that's something which has to be done. Because now we have to have dawai, kadhai, both. That's what the Prime Minister has often been saying. But jaan bhi hai aur jahan bhi hai.
Right. Payal Mehta, thank you so much for giving us that perspective. Payal, they're reporting on the Prime Minister's review of the COVID situation in the country with the top bureaucrats of the centre and the states. Keeping our focus back on Punjab, there has been a massive blast today in Ludhiana. 1 dead, at least 5 injured. But this isn't the only instance that has happened as far as attempt to sabotage, attempt to disturb Punjab's peace is concerned. Is this all part of a grand plan? We're about to break down for you the incidents that have happened recently, which makes you wonder if there is a big plan right now to really conspire against Punjab and its people. The first thing that has happened was the lynching incident. There was a sacrilege allegation that was made in Kapurthala. We still don't know whether the sacrilege actually happened or not. The police is investigating on that, but it led to a lynching case. There was a second lynching that happened at Amritsar. This was a sacrilege attempt that was caught on television, caught on cameras, live broadcast was on, and that also made people of Punjab very edgy, some angry, some upset, some worried. The third incident that we're talking about, Pakistan's narco arms connection here. Drones were shot down in Firozpur. This happened on December 18, 2021, so just a few days ago. And these drones have been repeatedly sighted by BSF and brought down. Was this a part of a grand conspiracy is what we are asking. December 4th, 2021, 4 hand grenades and a tiffin bomb recovered at Gurdaspur. Who was responsible for these tiffin bombs and grenades? Who's really trying to destabilize Punjab's peace? Who's really is responsible is the question that I am asking with all my guests. BJP's Aparajita Sarangi, Charanjit Singh Sapra of Congress Party, Paramveer Singh, advocate and spokesperson of Aam Aadmi Party, and former DGP Shashikant. They've all been here waiting. Shashikant ji, before we went into that story about the Prime Minister's review meeting, I was asking you what has happened in Ludhiana. Is this an intelligence failure? We just listed out repeated instances that are happening, clear red flags which tell you something is amiss, and yet a blast happens. What really was the state intelligence and the state administration doing there?
Look, as far as the failure of intelligence is concerned, there is no doubt about that. Certainly, it was a failure of intelligence, total failure of intelligence. But what worries me more is that the sleeper cells of the Pakistan, ISI, etc., that means they are lying low in Punjab, they are dormant, And the very existence of the sleeper cells, which I think they just try to indulge into one act of violence or the other at the time which suits them. That is the biggest problem that we are gonna have.
Right.
Now there are different box bombs, then drones, and now this thing happening there.
Right.
These explosives didn't come overnight from any place.
Right.
That means they were lying here. There were some persons who were sitting on them. There were some persons who were waiting for some kind of directions from their nasty bosses. Why the intelligence agencies of the Punjab government, government of India, or whatever, that means a total lack of coordination, are more worried about the sleeper cells than any other thing.
And while you know, top cops and policemen are all worried about this being a conspiracy from across the border, final word to you, Aparajita Sarangi. I'm really running out of time, but there seems to be some kind of an allegation at political opponents of the Congress party there. Navjot Singh Sidhu says there are agencies which are being misused. We don't know who he is indicating, but politically speaking, looks like he is aiming his gun at the center.
See, there are certain things which should be above politics. When people die, I think we should not indulge in politics. Navjot Singh Sidhu should know what to say when. This is one thing. Number two, the state government right now should strengthen its law and order machinery. The law and order machinery should be more effective, I would say.
Right.
There should be no intelligence failure. And I think the state machinery should be much more vigilant than it is. Because it's a series of aberrations we are seeing everywhere in Punjab.
Right.
So why are these happening?
Exactly.
And as far as the central government is concerned, we are very much with the state government. Central government is extending all support to the state government.
Right. Ms. Sarangi, thank you so much for taking time out. Thank you also to Charanjit Singh Sapra, Paramveer Singh and Shashikant. I wish I had more time because this is a very critical issue, not just for the safety and security of Punjab, but for safety and security of the country. Punjab is a border state. It has seen instability, killings, lack of peace for a full decade, and that has had its impact on the country's safety and security as well. One just hopes that the central and the state agency can work together to ensure that what happened in Ludhiana is the end point and not the starting point of disturbing peace in Punjab. Thanks for watching.